Hey, Facebook Live. I hope you are having a great Monday. How is your week going? I would love for you to let me know in the comments. Just pop it up. Let me know where you're viewing from, and I'm trying out some new things here. If you read the description that I put, you might not know by looking at this mug right here that I'm shaking in my boots right now. You know why? Because I am learning to be more vulnerable and transparent about what's going on and authentic about what's going on. And so I really wish I would have copied and pasted somewhere where I can see that whole description, because I can't actually see it right now. I'm going to have to look it up on my phone to be able to see what I actually wrote. But it has to do with coaching. And, whenever we're not getting the results that we want, the timely results or the caliber of results that we want in our life, here it is right now. Is this meta enough for you? What's the delay on this? All right. Is that meta enough? Okay. I've got it right in front of me. If we're not getting the results that we want in our life, it's time to think about either changing it up in some way, like a dramatic switch, or sometimes it just makes sense, a lot of times, to invest in a coach. If you are self-identifying as a high-performance professional, if you self-identify as somebody who is results-oriented, somebody who is trying to add value to other people, then it makes a lot of sense, instead of switching the game up all the time, to actually do the hard work of looking into yourself with someone else's help and, kind of putting your finger on some things that need to change. You can't be a good golfer, for example, without a coach. Can't be a good hitter in baseball without a coach. Can't be a good pitcher. Can't be a good infielder without coaches, and sometimes multiple coaches. So it's very important to be true to yourself and get the resources that you need together to invest in coaching. Now, I'm starting to lose track on the number of times that I've done this. And frankly, this time around, I'm going to get right to it. There are a couple of things that my coach has seen that I'd rather not that she sees this time around. And she's pretty blunt with me. So I'm going to just tell you what the two things are, and then I'm going to tell you what I'm doing about it, and what I'm formulating, what I'm doing. Ultimately, actually talking to you about this here on Facebook Live. But what I love is if we know each other, if we're not like completely random connections on Facebook, if we know each other either online because we've interacted a lot, or better face-to-face, because I think a lot of us are still pretty old school people, and face-to-face is best. So if this rings true at all for you about me, I'd love for you to give me a thumbs up or leave an encouraging comment, an encouraging one. If you're going to be brutal, try to put a nice little spin on it. And the whole point of this is, I realize if I'm going to make the pivot that I'm about to make, that I've already made, frankly, last week, it's the hashtag down here. I want to help, I don't want to just bury my head behind this microphone and you see me doing all these interviews every week back to back, but do we really connect? And do I really help the people that you know so that they can be the talk, so that they can give the talk to change the world, a branded talk? What kind of a talk? Is that the TED talk, Nathan? Well, yeah, if that's the one that you're thinking of, that's the kind it is. Well, is it the Idea City talk? Well, yeah, it is, if you say that one. Whatever your talk is that you want to do, that's the talk that you need to give. Whoever you know needs to give a talk in 2019. The time to get on it is now. The time to get on it is now. Now, I've been sharing some crazy, creepy, unpleasant, futuristic but statistically accurate in terms of, what McKinsey, I don't think I shared that one yet. I'll have to share that one soon. McKinsey published a report. I think it was Wall Street Journal published a article about 10 years from now, 11 years, but 10 years from now, the changes will almost be made. I'm seeing the commercials on Hulu. I'm seeing the commercials or wherever I see the commercials about in 10 years, half of the people out here are going to be self-employed. They're going to be contractors instead of employees. And this is not including the people, like me that love being self-employed and love the freedom of it. And we step up and we do the work and, learn and do the hard work about correcting our blind spots. This is the people that want to be employed by somebody else, and it's not an available option for them unless they are, in the top, I don't know, quartile. I don't know how high up you have to be, but you have to be in the part that doesn't get cut. And how does that happen? Well, coaching is one resource, even for employed people that want to be in that top half, or it might end up being a top quartile or top 20% that doesn't get cut in terms of just the way that the numbers actually work out 10 years from now. Anyway, that's behind this. So I'm putting a little bit of the pressure out there, and I'm not doing it to scare anyone. This is just, I wrote this book 15 years ago, and now the future is here. And everybody knows what a subject matter expert is, and everybody has become a personal brand who wants to do that. And giving a talk is a huge part of anyone that wants to have a personal brand, whether they are self-employed or independent, or if they are employed. Some of the most powerful talks are from employed people that frankly love that career trajectory, and they get it and they want to do that. It's important to make the changes that we need to make. So what changes are you making, Nathan? Are you just posting scary online articles, or are you making the change? Well, I'm going to tell you, number one. My coach says to me, Nathan, you give off mixed she says, you give off mixed messages online. Ouch. Okay? Ouch. Mixed messages. What does that mean? That means you don't really know what I'm here to do. You don't really know the resources that I've created. You don't really know how to interact with somebody like me, or for anybody that you know that has a real issue. And, in this case, because I'm, in the context of 100 talks in 100 days, let's just say the issue would be they don't know how to go about applying or getting accepted for their talk so that they have a better portfolio, so that they can, enjoy the publicity, so that they can build, resources alongside their talk to spread and enhance and amplify their message. My coach says to me, Nathan, mixed messages. I don't know what you're offering. I don't know how you can help me. And I don't know how to go about reaching out to you without you, frankly, blowing me off, because there's mixed messages everywhere. Okay. Ouch, ouch, ouch. And you know what? She's right. And you know what? Here's something else. It's not an easy thing, as we all know, to have a personal brand, to have, to think outside of our own little skull. Okay. I've got about maybe half an inch, a third of an inch in between the outside of my head. I'm going to have a big red spot here. I got this hard skull in between the ideas that are in here and what I want them to look like, and the simple, logical, compelling path, the roadmap that isn't too scary, that isn't too aggressive, that it builds trust and does all the things that both my coach and I want me to build. But I got this hard thing, in between, and that's part of what, and that causes a blind spot, really. Because, I look And, in my camera right now, if it didn't have auto reverse technology, these logos behind me, Be the Talk, they would all be backwards. And it's kind of like that for all of us. I mean, am I the only one? No, I think that might be the case, for you and what you're working on and towards right now. You're probably seeing it with reverse vision. Hopefully you have some confidants at work. You've got some friends, maybe you've also invested in these techniques and tools of coaching and other things like that to help you get the clarity that you need. So mixed messages, this campaign, 100 talks in 100 days, that might even look like a mixed message because I'm not trying to give 100 talks. Okay. This is, that's an easy, I'm trying to get my fingers aligned up. Okay. These are talks for 100 of your friends. These are talks for 100 of your associates. These are talks for 100 of your tribe, your fan club. Okay. I'm not trying to get on 100 stages in 100 days. That is not what this is. This is me taking the resources that I'm creating right now to help other people have the guidance and the roadmap that I didn't even have, even though I had been helping and volunteering and doing a lot of things behind the scenes. And I still didn't know the path until I actually stepped out of that and walked it out myself and gave a talk. I'm looking at it over there. Sometime I'll show you the poster that I made. It's wonderful. It's almost been a year, and I actually did buy my ticket for TEDx Harrisburg 2018 just to thank all of them. I mean, I'm a couple hours at least from Harrisburg. I'm so grateful, not just that they gave me an opportunity to audition and apply, not just that they accepted me, but that they had such a high caliber of speakers there. I had a best-selling author from the last 20 years. And I think it's, several million copies of books. And I had read both of his books. And we had someone there who was a cabinet official or a staff for a cabinet official. And then, TEDx Harrisburg, they gave me, I can't believe that they did this. They had me step up even more, and they had me close the whole event as the final speaker. And so it was just absolutely wonderful. You can look up my talk. You just YouTube it, put my name in there, you'll find it. And I'm just so grateful to them. So I'm going back just to cheer everybody else on. But you know what? Even though I had served and helped out and volunteered a lot behind the scenes, I didn't know that these resources and this roadmap would work for people until I went to a completely different organization, in this case, TEDx Harrisburg, because I'm a couple hours away from there, and it worked. That's my point. It worked. I got up there, I gave a talk, and it may not be my last talk. I'm just going to say that. I may be not just talking the talk, but I was challenged by my best-selling friend Ricky this weekend. He said, Nathan, I think we need you to walk the walk. So I might just be walking the walk, if you know what I mean. So mixed messages is a huge thing. The second thing that my coach said to me that was very, very painful to hear, okay, and even though I invest the resources to hire a coach, that's not nearly enough. It's not nearly enough, because what do you have to do in addition to allocating the resources? Well, this may seem like a no-brainer until you're in the hot seat and your coach says, the second thing that she said to me. But you've got to not just invest the resources and choose to do that, but you've also got to commit to taking action on yourself. And that's way harder. I don't care how expensive. I'll just say expensive, because you don't get too many coaches for, 50 or $100 an hour, at least that I see out there. The really scary thing is committing to change. and committing to do the hard work, because none of the investment is only to the extent that you're going to do the hard work on the inside of you. So, I mean, that's really the way that it goes. It's only as good as the investment that you make. Now, one thing that my coach told me is I could look on the second screen and make sure that I don't miss any comments as they come in. So I thank whoever that was. I'm using software here, so I'm not really seeing. Hey, Roberto, thank you for that like. See, I'm learning, okay? And I think what it is with the technology and when I'm interviewing up to 5 people at a time, you know, all this extra kind of not very difficult stuff is it's even more overload for me. So I need sometimes a blind spot is simple technology. See who just liked the video. So, yeah. So anyway, second thing that my coach told me that I am committed to working on. And fortunately, I don't have to do this all by myself. I can lean on other people. I can lean on other people when I'm not strong, and they'll be my friend and they'll help me carry on, because it's not going to be long until they're going to need somebody to lean on, to quote the great Bill Withers right there. You see what I did there? When you're not strong, or when you have a blind spot. But the second thing is, I'm a little too much of a mysterious sort of person. She said to me, Nathan, you are just shrouded in mystery. And she was nice about it. She said, that's a really neat thing. That's really cool that you're this mysterious. You know, I like to fancy myself as an Austin Powers. He's an international man of mystery. But when you're, you know, online trying to resource people to give 100 different talks in 100 days, it doesn't pay to be too much of a mystery. Doesn't pay to be too mysterious when you're actually trying to help change other people's lives. So how am I going to what am I going to do about this? How am I going to overcome this? I'm going to try to ask more questions. I'm going to ask you to respond more. I'm going to ask you to comment more. I'm going to actually shout you out in a nice way, like Roberto here, when they like what I did or when they comment. I've got a little bit of technology challenge because I don't see it all in real time because of some of this stuff that we have right here, and that's okay because I can overcome it with even the extra technology that we have. So anyway, those are some of the things that are going on. Here are a couple of practical things that I'm doing about this, and frankly, why am I talking about this right now? The reason I'm talking about this right now is, frankly, I have made in some ways, many ways, I have made a very grave error. I have made a grave error. What I've done is I've got all these people lined up for interviews, but then, especially in the early days, you're all cheering me on, and I'm just like tunnel vision. I'm focused on my guests, and I have done a really bad job, frankly, of acknowledging, expressing gratitude, encouraging, pumping up, and adding value, not to just my guests, but my audience who is watching, all of you. I've done a horrible job on it. Well, I've got to do all this stuff, and I'm interviewing and everything else like that. Well, yeah, I am. And you know what? Yeah, it's time to take some responsibility for the results, because my mentor says, it takes a result to improve a result. So I'm going to find a way from here on out to circle back, take some extra time, circle back, and really acknowledge everybody that cared enough to go a little bit outside of the norm and just be encouraging or appreciate what my guests are doing, what I'm doing. It's an awesome thing. It really doesn't take too much time, but I've really got to include that. So why am I telling you right now? Because I plan on doing this. I'm going to do it. If I don't do it, then that's pretty bad. So I'm putting myself on the line right here on Facebook Live. And so, and as I've already said, welcoming all of you, encouraging you to connect. Let me know where you're watching from. Let me give you a shout out. That's a huge thing. And you know what? That doesn't just go for live. That also goes for on demand. When you're watching this after the fact, just as good as catching me live. So that's a little bit about what I felt like I needed to talk about today. I'm just looking at my description here. Come on. Just looking at the description again. I'm trying to pull that up. Hey, Betsy, Michael, and Roberto. See, this is great. This is what happens when I'm looking at... Oh, my. And I'm pulling up the wrong thing. Hey, you guys. So we've got a several second delay right here, and that's not cool. Okay, thanks for helping me get through the technology. I'm actually trying to not access the video, but the description here. Want to make sure that I've covered everything that I said I was going to cover in the video. It's a little bit meta to try to be engaging everybody and also read and understand what my eyes are seeing when I'm also talking. So we talked about investing in high performance, which means getting a coach, talking about transparency and how scared I am, and the blind spots. And just to review these things, hey, Roberto says, good talk, Nathan. I was needing to hear this. Betsy says, hi. I think something's kicking in with my software here. Sorry if that wasn't in real time, but man, what a great encouragement. You guys rock. And, I think, we all need to hear this. And that's what I'm finding out, Roberto, when I am, or when any of us, frankly, when any of us, especially those of us who do have coaching in our toolkit, whether we do or don't have the extra bandwidth to allocate that time actively, we're all coaches. And even someone who doesn't know that they have the coaching ability, if you can listen to people and suspend judgment, you've got most of what it takes. I mean, that sounds like I'm No, curiosity and caring for people, being able to keep a secret, asking questions, and really listening, that is a huge component right there of being able to coach. So just to backtrack, my coach says to me, Nathan, you got to work on your mixed messages because it's so confusing. Nobody knows how to reach out to you, Nathan. Nobody knows how to actually get their talk accepted or how to access any of this stuff that you're kind of hinting at. And she also said, you are a man of mystery. And that's a neat thing if you're Austin Powers, but if you're trying to help people in practical ways, you've got to untangle the mystery. Well, hey, that's, and then what I think is, well, welcome to my world because I can't even figure myself out sometimes. And I know I'm the only person on the planet that feels that way. I know all of you completely have it all figured out. But for me, I have blind spots. I'm going to hire a coach to help me figure that out. Let's try to be extra clear about this. What is 100 talks in 100 days? Well, I'm developing resources right now. That includes a email course, a short email course called Get Accepted in a Minute. That also includes, and I probably shouldn't say this right now, but I have a beta community that is way more involved than just having an email course that gives you everything you need to know. But if you want to connect with other people, I have been working on this community. I have just under 40 people in the community right now. I'm giving them my best stuff. I'm seeing, frankly, I'm learning from the community how quickly or how slowly or what the desired pace is and the different kinds of personalities that we have in the community. I've been doing some stuff over and above in that community, like mind mapping and just asking people, what do you want to talk about? And then mapping out in real time with my little mind map software, because I'm a geek like that, and putting a really short time limit, like a minute, and just letting them, because they've gone through actively the things that I teach in my email course about quickly shattering our camera shyness and taking very quick little videos so that we can hone our ideas down. They've been taking action, and so I've given them things that are not even in the community and mapping out their ideas, and they have been telling me amazing things. One person told me, frankly, that she had been locked up in her mind for, get this, not 2 months, not 1 year, but 2 years. 2 years trying to properly and rightly and you know, it's like when we have these personal experiences and these stories in our lives, and some of these stories are really amazing stories, and they're so amazing that they're almost really hard to believe. It's easy to discount. And so many of us have, you know, have you ever had something that was really important and precious to you and really meaningful to you? And it's almost like however you vote, you know, it's like we're really polarized today. I don't know if you've noticed this. It's been really crazy out there. So if you vote for the one side or you vote for the other side, it's really crazy, because if you're in the wrong company and you don't even know who's who, because we're all changing our minds sometimes too, but it's like you can get shot down, you know, for something as simple as your views on who you're going to vote for. Well, imagine having something even more personal, even more precious, an experience or something that is really helpful to other people potentially, but they don't believe you when you tell them, or they kind of look at you funny, or there's some kind of a weird blind spot in whatever you're saying. I mean, this is what people are going through. And when we map these things out, they get the confidence, not just the confidence, but the confidence that they're going to say the thing in a way that doesn't lose people. I can certainly relate to that. I say things to people all the time. They look at me crazy, or their eyes glaze over, or I said something and I didn't soften it, or I didn't make it credible, or I didn't, you know, all these little dynamics. And sometimes you really need to have a thinking partner, or you need to just see all of the emotions. I mean, I had asked her, you know, after we got through a lot of things, I just went through, where's the emotional block? What are you afraid of? And then we listed all of the things. And then the block left, because it's like fear, you know, resentment, or, you know, incredulousness, or, you know, being accused of having it too easy, or, you know, discounted in that way, which, you know, that can be a very common, oh, you've got it real easy. I get this stuff all the time. You know, what, growing up, it was like my parents were in healthcare. So it's like, you know, your dad's in healthcare, you know, you've got it easy. And actually I did. They were right. I did happen to have it easy, but that even became a crazy thing, frankly, for me. Oh, you have it easy. You know, when people, no matter what people tell you, can become a tough thing. It can become an obstacle. It really can. Now, somebody just liked that I said that, which is just amazing to me, because that's not really heroic. You know, frankly, it's like your parents are in healthcare. You've had it easy, and then that's some kind of a block. Hey, Ricky, thanks for the like, buddy. I was just talking about you talking about how you told me that I needed to walk the walk instead of talking the talk. So, my gosh, it's a powerful thing. So anyway, the mixed messages, the mystery, and frankly, the mapping. I mean, I'm committed to the people in this beta group. Even though I'm not in the beta group right now, I'm kind of blasting this out publicly. You know why? Because there are a whole lot more people out there. And when this thing gets polished enough for me to reach out to some other people and their tribes that want to give a solid talk to change the world, when I reach out to those people, I want people to know about this and be ready to make some kind of a decision. And you know, what can we do in the meantime, Nathan? You know, who are these people? I don't know that I'm in there. You don't need to be in their tribe. You can interact directly with me. And here's an easy way to do it. It's so easy, I'm not going to miss it up with my big plans and my mind maps and stuff. I am going to be doing a webinar soon. I'm just going to say that word soon, because that way I'm not committing myself to a detail. But if you want to ask me anything, if I'm being too mysterious about 100 talks in 100 days right here, if I am confusing, if I'm not clear enough, if you don't even know what kind of a talk that I'm talking about, and that's kind of deliberate, you fill in the blank. If it's a TED talk, I'm talking about a TED talk. If it's a TEDx talk, if it's a Q talk, if it's an Idea City talk, that's what I'm talking about. But if there are any kind of clarifying questions that you want from me, and you can comment it right here is a great place to do it. But if you want to reach out to me privately and say, hey, I want to know when this webinar is. I want to know when you open up this thing that you're talking about. I want to take your 5-day email course. I want to do it. You want to do that, reach out to me, Nathan@bethetalk.com, and then you'll be part of the insiders, and then you'll get early access. You know, if you're not on the inside with me, then I get really nervous about, just spamming this stuff out there. I don't want to be bothering people. I don't want to be spamming people. Public speaking supposedly is the number one fear, more than flying in an airplane or more than death, frankly. I don't believe that because I see a lot of stages. I don't believe that statistic at all because I see just a few amount of stages, and I see a lot of people that want to be on that stage. Frankly, myself included. Myself included. I love being on a stage, and I love speaking from the stage more than I enjoyed playing, 75 minutes of memorized classical music from the stage. I would rather speak on the stage than play perfect classical memorized music from the stage. You know why? Because it's a lot, it's even, it's even more daunting to do that. I'll just say that. I spent the first 20 some years of my life doing that. It's not an easy thing to do. And I've, frankly, if my head hasn't been in this microphone, I have hid from people my entire life. I have hid in a practice room. Imagine like a cell block, and instead of having, a wristband with your prisoner number on it, you are actually practicing your instrument in this cell block. It's not a cell. It's not a jail cell. It's a practice room. And there are people. There are thousands and thousands and thousands of music students all over the world right now in these practice rooms. Right now, they're just practicing. What are they not doing while they are practicing? Building their audience. What are they not doing when they're not practicing? For almost all of them, building an audience. What did I not learn how to do? Even though I could play, note perfect music from the stage memorized, I didn't learn how to build an audience. What do all the people who are successful musicians have in common? They have an audience. Okay? Funny how life has a way of forcing us to learn the skills that we refuse to learn. So no mixed messages, 100 talks, 100 days. This is your talk. This is the talk of that person you say they need to give a, whatever kind of talk it is. Now, if you say, well, they need to give a Toastmaster, well, you go to your Toastmasters. I'm not going to help you on your Toastmasters talk. Go drive to a Toastmasters and join a Toast and do a Toastmaster. I'm talking about the talks that people are really, no offense to the Toastmaster, because I've been a Toastmaster. Okay, they had me the last Toastmasters I was at. I quit because like every other week they had me be the Toastmaster. And that was a lot of prep work. So I quit. And I realized there are other styles, and there are, again, I'm not trying to diss on Toastmasters, but that's a certain style. And there's a different kind of style with different kinds of presentation skills that even if you know how to do the Toastmaster style, you need to learn how to give, a TED style, short form, idea centric talk where you are not the expert. Even though you did all the research, you did all the hard thinking to make it simple, even though you did all the hard work to connect with the audience, even though you got your facts straight and it makes sense, that that's really the difference between a TEDx talk or any of these other kinds of talks versus, being a keynote speaker, being, a graduation speaker, being even a Toastmaster or a corporate speaker. You're not the expert, even though you are. You got to be as knowledgeable as the expert, but you're not the expert. You don't get the glory. You have to point back to the idea, and you have to do it in 10 minutes or so. Now, some people say 18 minutes. Well, a lot of these places, they're not going to give you 18 minutes anymore. So I hope this is helpful. I hope that I'm, being a little clearer. And if this excites you, feel free to share this. Feel free to tag other people in this, because this offer is for them. Give a talk. Connect with me. Reach out to me, Nathan@BeTheTalk.com. Connect with me. Say, Nathan, put me on your insider list. I know, Nathan, you're afraid of spamming everybody. You're afraid of getting, blacklisted from Facebook, from being too flagrant. Nathan, I know that you're not affiliated officially with any of these groups, even though you've closed out TEDx Harrisburg last year. But I want to be on the inside, Nathan. So reach out to me so I know who you are, and then you're going to find out, and you're frankly going to be on the first row. You're going to be on the bleeding edge of everything that I'm rolling out. And I don't want anybody that that needs to be on that stage and needs that YouTube video and needs to add to their media kit. I don't want you to miss out. I don't want anybody to miss out. Now, there are a lot of people that will coach you as a speaker, and that is a great, and I'm not talking about this. I'm talking about getting your talk accepted. I'm talking about finding out all of the empowering ways to be able to put the odds to work for you so that you can give the amazing talk. First step is getting accepted. I hope this was less mysterious. I hope I'm making a little bit more progress on this, and I hope that there were fewer mixed messages on this. I want to prioritize you. I'm being a little shameless right here, but it's really to serve the people that you know. And you know what? Frankly, if you don't want to interact right now with me, that's fine. Go to Be the Talk. Listen to 10 episodes. We're hitting 250 episodes this week on Be the Talk. So that's almost 100 hours of free resource right there. Find out what worked for everybody else. That's my little talk for the day. I'm going to be back on tomorrow. And thank you, all of you, for joining me. Let's see if there's anybody else before I go, just because I'm trying to be really, really, really super mindful about all of this, and there we go here. And we've got, we've got all kinds of little things right there. I am having a hard time. I'm having a hard time seeing who like this here. Oh, come on. You know what, folks? I'm going to do it offline. This is too meta. Take care. Thanks for joining me on the ride, my friends, and I will see you tomorrow. If you have a question for me between now and then, reach out to me, ask the question. I'll include that on the webinar, but I'll answer it tomorrow. Take care.